Hello, Mary. Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break.
Oh, look at her pretty shirt.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are
You
you
can't.
all?
That's turned down. They can hear me.
Good morning.
Let's see.
Here, Fishy
We
says
are
we got a
good. How are
great
you,
deal on.
Father Fish?
Say what? Cass?
How are you
Oh,
doing, Father
good, thank
Fish?
you. My eyes are burning like they're on fire. I can't get it to stop. I've been doing eye drops, Visine, and it ain't doing a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the eye drops can burn.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happening. I don't know.
You need to get you some artificial tears or the moisturizer instead of actual eye drops, or is that what you're using?
I don't know. No, I don't know what I got. It's itchy eye relief.
Okay. You probably need
Yeah.
the moisturizer.
Yeah, you're probably right. What is this in front of my eye?
An eyebrow hair.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can see it, but I can't. Honest to God.
They start growing out your eyebrows and your ears and on top of your nose and everywhere.
Exactly. It's my ear hair that gets in my eyes. That's the problem. Oh, God.
Hair trimmer.
Prayers and thoughts are with Jess this morning. She's having 3 molars extracted.
And Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and give us a report on Alex, Mary.
Oh, yeah, Alex, I talked to him and he had 3. I think he had 3 teeth removed also, and now he's not feeling well, feeling achy, running a fever, all that stuff. So sounds like the dentist thing might be a thing, Cass.
Oh, I don't know. I was just saying there was like a trifecta of things that happened that week for me, so I can't pin it down to any one.
Oh, I'm on top chat.
Yeah. So has us rinse with hydrogen peroxide for 30 seconds before we go to the chair. And they say that will sterilize our mouths, so there's some protection there.
Huh.
Yeah, I think it lasts temporarily for like 30 minutes.
The peroxide rinse,
yeah.
You mean? Really?
Yeah, it's not something that's going to last all day and protect you or other people. It's just supposed to be like while you're in the chair so they can work on you.
Psychedelic Hippocampus is here. Hello, hello. T-Bones Fishes, John Larson, David Samsel. Who else? Al Wet Socks. Hi there, Al. Too much screen time. Yeah, I think maybe. I got Snacks is here. Aquatic Conquest. Aquatic Conquest, I noticed that the Halloween special premieres tonight at 8 o'clock. I guess we'll use it tomorrow for the Halloween party tomorrow morning. Happy hour, he says. Aquatic Conquest calls it happy hour. Yeah, really. That's pretty good, actually, isn't it? Alexander Lee, Holly Gibbs, Greg.
Oh, he says we'll change it for 4 hours later.
Oh, James Handy. You don't want to put it on right now, do you? James Handy, good morning, good morning. Has James been here before?
Yes, he has. At least
there's a couple of them.
I don't know how many times.
David Samsel.
Yeah, David's been on live with you, sharing his aquarium.
Yeah.
Now, David's a member.
Oh, okay. He's up in Canada.
And he now has a wrench. Oh,
I sent you an email, Father Fish. Did you get my link to my video I took yesterday?
no, I don't think so. Let me see if I can find it. It was as an email. I was just looking at my email this morning.
I can't find any of my emails. I don't know what's going on with mine.
Did you get mine,
Tried
Mary?
for 2 days. I've tried for 2 days to find it.
You sent it yesterday. Your baby fish.
Yesterday.
So we got a link. Oh, okay. No, I didn't. Yeah, let me. We can play that fun.
I took it in non-portrait mode. I don't know if it'll come up like that though.
Is it a picture or a video?
It's a short, like 1 minute video.
I've got a
Mary
picture.
saw it already.
Oh, there it is. Okay. We got it.
I don't know if you'll see anything, but
There's a baby fish. Oh, there he is, right at the bottom.
Yeah. It's got to be an Endler or a guppy, maybe. It was probably in that
Not
marsh.
a guppy. I don't think it's a guppy. It could
Oh, it's
be,
not?
but I don't think it is. I don't know. I can't really tell. It looks too long and thin for a guppy.
I've been feeding it because I didn't
it
want the baby
is very
fish.
thin.
Kind of is.
Could one of yours had it, Cass?
What kind of fish
I don't know. Maybe.
Could be a
Is it? This is
dingo
not stuff from outside, is it?
or
No.
The Salvini.
The Salvinia that was collected, yeah, locally and then brought in, but a lot of that has been.
How long ago?
Yeah, it's been several months, so that's just been in all my old aquariums.
So it's not from that.
And then I
Probably.
So what do you think it is? What fish do you have? What are the options?
What kind of fish is this?
I have the zebra danio, the Cory catfish, and black skirt tetras.
Okay. My money is going to be on a Danio. Could be a black skirt, but I'm betting Danio.
Yeah, and I said in the little clip, I was like, I haven't fed it yet because I didn't even know I had a baby fish in there.
You need to get food in there right away for it, or it won't survive the day. It's pretty devoid of. Notice it's staying in one place. Can y'all see that? That's kind of significant. These little tiny fish don't move around much. He's starting around, but it's in like an area the size of a father fish mug. He's staying pretty close to the top. It says,
he was just staying in that corner.
to me. Stand in the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get some water from your outdoor pond, some mulm, and put that in there. That'll provide maybe some paramecium. He's big enough to take a brine shrimp, but you haven't got that going. There should be some Daphne or something in that bucket, though. Try to feed him from there. And then you could grind up something real fine and put very, very tiny amount of it in. You don't want to put enough in to mess the water up. But he's staying in one spot, so it's a good chance you can get food to him. Pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I had filmed it the other direction, but I don't know why it's coming up portrait.
That's nice.
Yeah, he kind of to me looks like maybe a zebra danio.
I have this baby fish.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it came in from the
I
bottom.
was looking over that. And I was just looking at like a snail had caught my eye, and then I saw like the little wiggler, and I was like, "There's a baby fish in there."
So how would an egg have gotten in there?
I had the Java moss that Mary sent, and I had it in my 40, but I took it out, and so I guess for the day or so that it was in my 40.
Yeah, if you have
from her fish.
That's exactly how you take eggs out of a community tank. If you put a big clump of Java moss in your community tank, if you've got fish spawning, and you can see them, rainbows are classic for this. They'll go into the grass and spawn in the morning. You take that whole clump out and put it in a separate container, and in a couple of days there'll be babies in there. So that's exactly how it happens.
Yeah, it was just a fluke accident that happened.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Right. A Fish had a question.
Yes.
Been disconnected from the internet hobby. Feel alone on my journey. How can I reach other people and be noticed? Gee whiz. Well, I think what you need to do, A Fish, is start interacting. You can do it right there, right now. Just start interacting with some of the fish people, some of the other folks on that chat right there. It's all about developing friendships, and you develop friendships by engaging in conversation. The more you can do that, the closer that friendship becomes. It's really a good question, and a really important one, because it's why we're here. We're not here so much to improve our hobby as we are to share our hobby. I got into this a little bit yesterday when I was talking about the fish keeper as a hermit, because the fish keeper really is a hermit. I mean, when you're zoned in on that fish tank, you're kind of oblivious to the rest of the world and typically to other people. But then when you step back from it, you've seen things and learned things and done things that you really want to be able to share. So that's very much what we're doing here. We're sharing the experience that each of us individually have with our aquariums and our fish and whatever. It's like what Cass just did, sharing that little amazing event that she discovered in her tank. And you can do that kind of thing as well. Take a little video. We're happy to share those kinds of things here. You can catch the link. Let me put the link in. I try to keep it up and available. Click on the link; it'll bring you to us. You'll be in the waiting room, and I'll bring you up if I see you, and I try to keep an eye on it. And it'll be a chance to chat. But so you can do that, but you also, really more importantly, can have a conversation with somebody else right here in the chat. Get some videos up. That videos are a great way to get conversation going, because people will respond to you. And be sure when they do to always respond in kind. I mean, the master of this is with us. The master of building relationships in the fish fam is Mary Page. So she's the one who really ought to be talking about this. Tell us a little bit about your experience, Mary.
One thing about me is, like, before, am I getting feedback? Like, if I see people, I don't know what it is, but whenever I watch videos and I really see people are putting their heart into it, now that my face is kind of with my name, it's a little different now, but I just always wrote what was on my heart to people. Like, I didn't just discuss, I mean, I kind of would, want to know how people are doing, or just talking, chit-chatting about everything. I mean, just everything. Anything that touches you or moves you or you think is wonderful, just express it. That's what I do. I like to express how much I really appreciate what I'm seeing people doing, because it makes me enjoy my hobby too. Does that make sense?
You bet.
Okay. Oh, Father Fish, Aquatic Conquest wanted to know if you wanted that done at a certain time. The video, I think, is what he was asking about.
Well, we want to be able to show it tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing our Halloween party tomorrow morning, so we're hoping to get lots of folks up here in some kind of costume or other, and it needs to be fishy, a fishy costume. It could be as simple as something on your face or head. I'm going to do my hair, I think.
I love it.
Or something kind of from the chest or the waist up. Something that'll show up on video. So if you want to have that available, so we can play it first thing, and we'll run it 2 times at least, at the beginning and at the end. And if we get totally knocked out, we'll do it in the middle. So yes, Aquatic Conquest, happy to looking forward to it. And if you could have it available.
Here she says Mary was the first person to give me a YouTube comment before I even found her on Father Fish.
Oh, thank you all.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
Reading all the comments too.
Yeah, I was going through. So just a fish, just keep on hanging in there and just say hello everywhere you are. And we know you're here. We love you. And don't be worried about asking, like, I don't care what kind of questions. Never feel, like, even if it seems like a silly question, just anything to kind of start conversations. Because that's what I found in the community. Most of us want a conversation. We want to talk back. So it's exciting whenever somebody's interested or has a comment or really likes something we have, or we like something they have. That's the fun of it and the family of it. So that's pretty cool. One more thing. Who was it? Tisha. I can't say her name. She's having surgery. She's having a procedure this morning too. So we want to make sure.
Wow.
Yep. And yeah, I like Sharpie. Sharpie said most of us don't bite. Don't bite ish. Wait a minute. I messed up. Oh, a fish. What? Most of us don't bite a fish. Most, haha. Being in live chats is a great way to start, though. So yeah, just stop in every live chat and just, if you see somebody, like we're in another live chat and you see me or you see one of us, just say hey. And believe me, soon you'll be saying so many hellos, you won't be able to do anything else.
Right. Yeah, and go on some of the smaller channel videos.
Yeah.
And make a comment. You'll almost always get a reply.
Yep. I subscribe to everybody.
Yeah, I try to reply to every comment. I get behind. And sometimes, if what they've said is kind of pro forma, then mine typically will be too. But if somebody asks me a serious question, I might give them a 2-word answer, but probably it'll be longer. Maybe a 1-word answer, like yes or no.
Yeah.
I do that.
Just something, some acknowledgement.
If I do that, it's just because I'm a smart aleck. That's all.
Yeah. Once you get to know certain people, when their smart aleckness is just love. Oh. Trying to see what else we got. I think I saw a couple of questions, but I hope Cass found them. And that's the other thing. Yeah, like I subscribe to like everybody that's joining in our chat all the time. Like I try to go back, and every time I see them in another video or another community, or not community, another chat or something, I always try to subscribe to everybody that's like in our, and if I haven't subscribed to you yet, believe me, I'm trying to get to you. And I try to watch as many videos as I can, but it's starting to get where I can't watch them all anymore.
Yeah.
I know.
I was reading, it says I have more tanks, but I can't keep track. Yep, that's when you know it's official. When you can't keep track anymore.
T-Bone says
Well,
he's been trying on here for a while, but
Yep.
he feels like unless people don't know you, they don't really talk to you.
It's like because they're shy too, really, most of the time. Like I remember when I first started and people would be, I'd be watching all the hellos and I would like just slip a little tiny hello in there between everybody and nobody would really see it, But I started when I started seeing people like say Chevy fish, or sometimes you see some of the bit like you see father fish every once in a while, or I don't know, there's so many great people, but Chevy's one that I would always say hello to. And she would always say hello back, and then it would kind of cascade from there. So,
Yeah.
James just posted our aquatics,
oh,
which
nice.
is a real friendly fish forum. Yeah.
Oh, I've never been on that one. I was trying to get on the Discord Father Fish, and the one I was clicking on said that it expired. Where am I missing the new one? Okay, you got the same thing, Cass. I know we talked about it the other day, but
Yeah, I was saying you got to hit that link before it does expire.
yeah.
So
Maybe if you can have
Just hit the
Thomas or
link
something.
again. Go back to the original link again.
I think that's the one I clicked on.
we think you might need to send a new one because the links expire after a certain time.
I think it's after 24 hours.
Oh, wait, maybe a little longer, maybe.
Okay.
I clicked it right away, so it wasn't a problem.
It's up on the community page on my channel.
Yeah, I think that's the one I clicked on, and I couldn't make sure. Let me try it.
Juan Chander says, "Good morning. My newly set up dirted tank, 5 weeks old, has become very cloudy. What to do? It's possible that you have some dirt intrusion coming up through the sand. If it looks like that's the case, you need to add more
some sand.
Check it carefully and put more sand in. Make sure that dirt's not coming up through it. There are any number of things, however, can cause a tank to become cloudy. Overfeeding is certainly chief among them.
It
what
worked.
Are we looking at? Oh, good. You're there.
I clicked on it, so I must have had the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and...
All right.
We've got 30 members.
Try to figure out what's causing the cloudiness, the buon. It could be overfeeding. It could be water changes. It might very well be that the dirt is coming up through the sand, and you need to add more sand to get that dirt separated. The sand bed is really key to making this deep substrate system work. The sand bed has to act as a cap, like a gasoline cap on an automobile, to keep the gasoline from coming out. If you leave that off and your tank is full, it's going to splash out. You want to get the cap on tight. Same thing with the sand. You need enough sand to make sure that dirt is not going to work its way through and come up into the water column. The sand literally separates the dirt from the water column. So make sure that sand is deep enough to do its job. You can't have too much sand. I mean, I've got sand in some tanks that's 5 inches deep. 3 inches is almost average anymore. As the tanks get older, the sand bed fills up with mold, and you have to add more sand to keep it all down under there, or you start getting mold rolling around in the tank. The way to cure that is to add more sand so the mold has some place to go. It'll go down in the sand very quickly. If it is not, it's because the sand bed is full of mold. So you need to put more sand in. Another inch will do. You might just do that, Wuhan, just add another inch of sand to the whole tank and see if that solves the problem. That might very well be the key. I would also do a water change or two. You want to get that cloudiness out of there. It's never really a good thing, unless it's green algae or something. But do like a minimum 10, maximum 25% water change to try to get control of that cloudiness. You can do that once a day. You can do it twice a day if you do it in the morning and in the evening. You want to make sure you don't do more than 25% in a 12 to 24 hour period. That way you're not stressing your fish out and you're giving things a chance to balance. Now, the caveat is if your tank is in serious trouble and fish are dying, you probably need to do a major water change. That could be 50% or even more if it's really bad. If you do more, we had a situation yesterday where we were draining a big tank to get it down halfway to do a major water change. Now, the water we put in our tanks is conditioned, so it's not a serious problem. But somebody was doing it and they walked away, and the people they asked to watch it walked away, and it wound up with 4 inches of water in the tank by the time I caught it.
Gosh,
So I pulled the pump out and I hooked up the system, and we started pumping water back into it. Fortunately, I sold most of the really quality fish that were in it, but I think we're okay. I don't think it'll be a problem. So, if you run into a serious issue like that, you just do what you got to do. Try to maintain a big trash can or a barrel with water in it. If you've got a fish room, or you can do it in the laundry room, basement, out back, on the porch, whatever, try to have a water supply available to you that's conditioned water, that's ready to go, that you can use at any time. You don't need to have a bubbler in it. It's a good idea to have a lid on it. But if you can do that, then when something like this comes up, you're going to be able to handle it without a lot of stress. Just pull some water out, and replace immediately with new water. After you've done a couple of those things, Rohan, call us back or contact us back and let us know how it's going. I'm just real interested. I'm always curious to know what causes problems. That's probably the single most important piece of information that you can learn in your tank. When you have a problem, you need to figure out what caused it. Sometimes it's really tough to do that. So you try solutions. And if the solution doesn't work, then you know that wasn't the problem. So you try something else. It's an experimental process. That's what I was talking about yesterday, applying the scientific method to your fish keeping, which is really a logical method. The scientific method is nothing more than the application, the rigid application of formal logic. First philosophy course I ever took in college was a course in logic. And it was a great discipline because I had to spend hours and hours struggling with trying to find the solutions to these logical problems, these dilemmas that were posted. But it taught me how to think. And that's really the key. You need to, if you don't know how, it's a discipline. And you have to discipline yourself to do it. You have to work at it. Solve puzzles. The best way to do it is to solve puzzles. Math problems are wonderful. They're a fabulous way to teach yourself to think, solving math problems. I got one I'm working on now. I still haven't figured out. I mentioned it yesterday, and I can't figure out the formula for it. It's basically this. It's very simple. If this horse is running at 10 miles an hour, and this horse is running at 5 miles an hour, and they're running together, how long will it take both of them put together to run 2 miles? It's an interesting problem.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to wrap my head around it yet.
No.
I mean, it's that simple. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but I can't figure it out. I'm sure somebody else is laughing right now because they realize what a nudnik I am. And I'm not looking for a formula. I'm not looking for a formula. I know what the formula is. Not interested in that. I'm interested in understanding it. I want to figure it out by understanding it. So there you go. So if horse A takes he's running twice as fast as the other one. So if I make it more complicated by putting it in a time frame, then I think make it more complicated. By the time he runs 3/4 of a mile, this guy has run 3/4 of half a mile, is 3/8 of a mile. So we now have 3/4, which is 6/8, and 3/8 is 9/8. So we're getting close. We need another 1/8 of a mile split between them. So we divide that 8 into 3 parts. Here it is. Divide the 8 into 3 parts. We give 2 parts to this one, 1 part to this one. So that's 1/24 and 2/24. And there's the answer somehow. You add it all together. So it's whatever.
Makes sense to me.
I don't know.
I don't know. I got to see the problem myself.
Oh, Lord.
Oh. See, good morning, Vinoski. I missed
Oh,
you.
yeah,
It says
Rasbora.
I apply the 5 whys to fish keeping.
Say what?
Well, I wonder if they mean the W's. Color Guppy says I apply the 5 whys to fish keeping. I've heard of the 5 W's.
The 5 W's, yeah. Probably what they meant.
Alex
the
is.
answer is 43.
Yeah, I was reading it.
Alex says the answer is 43. Damn, Alex. I got 42 every time I tried it. I don't know.
Where's Joe? Joe's tips and tricks. He's the math whiz. Like he is serious. He's a math major.
Oh, wow. Need to figure out that David needs to figure it out, right? I know it's a math. It's not. I don't want an algebraic formula. I want a math solution.
Oh, James Hand said he missed the math question. It's complicated.
The question.
Right.
Like what?
Lord.
All I want to know is if there's enough money left on the debit card to get something. That's the only math question.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Check the bank. Sister Lockmo, can you talk about brilliant Rasbora fish? I just purchased 3. They are, I've had them in a couple of times. They are really pretty. I mean, Rasbora is a really nice tetra. It's a very pretty fish. The brilliant Rasbora is even prettier. It has gold flecks in it, like real gold. It looks like it's flecked with dust gold. Just so pretty. How do you keep them? You know, I'll tell you, Sister Lockmouth, I keep all my fish the way I keep all my other fish. I'm not a good one to talk about how to keep fish because they all go in my system. And if they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. Now, I will say this. If I have a problem, and I occasionally do, where I have fish like neons or guppies that are not making it in my system, then I set up a new system. And I've done that. I was having trouble with guppies and neons both. I've had trouble with both of them. in my old systems. And I assume it's because there are bacteria living in there that these fish are susceptible to. But I set up a new system about 2 years ago, and I'm keeping guppies and neons in it very successfully. No trouble at all. So I'm really excited about the fish that Jess is going to be sending me. And incidentally, while I'm on it, Jess is doing a 3-part series with chubs on Monday evenings. They've already done one with sick and dying Alex, who's going to be better by Monday night. They did one with him this past Monday, and he was vertical at the time, so it worked out real well. They're doing another one this coming Monday night with a biologist, and they're going to be talking about genetics, I think, guppy breeding genetics. And they've invited me then to do the third one. That'll be, as I understand it, in 2 weeks, Monday evening. I don't have the time. Maybe somebody can give me the time, because I missed it this past Monday because I tuned in an hour late.
I think it came on at 9 o'clock our time, maybe, or 10 o'clock. It was later. And then Chubbs has one right afterwards. So
Yeah, no, I missed
I think it was 9 and then at 10. That's Eastern time. So
It's likely I tuned in at 10, but I might have. Lord knows. Anyway, I'll be on the third series talking about water. So here we go. Talking about water. Sister Lockmo's asking me about water. And I'm telling her, I just do what I do. Well, you know what? That's kind of the answer I have to everything. I mean, if you really look deeply at the purported wisdom of Father Fish, it boils down to a few basic things. The primary of which is I've been doing it that way for 50 years and it works. So that's the way I do it. That's one. That's principle A. And you can try to duplicate it if you want. Principle B is, yeah, I tried that about 5 years ago, a couple of times, and it didn't work, so I don't do it anymore. That's principle 2. And principle 3 is, gee whiz, never ran across that one before. And usually what'll happen is it'll go right out of my head until I run into that situation. And then I'll start working on it and trying stuff to make it happen. So, the so-called wisdom of Father Fish is really little more than the fact that my brain continues to function mimetically, historically, at a fairly interesting level. I'm amazed sometimes that I'm able to remember things on the spur of the moment. It just sort of pops into my consciousness. I don't really think about it much. It's just sort of there. Somebody will say something and it'll trigger a memory.
mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll go with. So it's a strange kind of thing. Anyway, so you ask me a scientific question and I'll probably be bamboozled by it. But you ask me something I've dealt with before, and chances are I'll have something to say about it. What else is going on here?
Who knows?
Alex.
Greg has a question at 8:34.
Hi, Betsy. Good morning.
Good morning, Betsy.
Yeah, she's not coming in the door. And
Uh-oh.
she might, I don't know. We don't have the turtle here anymore. He got sold yesterday.
Oh.
So let's see. 8:34.
Yeah, Greg's been battling with the black-beard algae.
Yep.
He wants to know how to get rid of it. What's the best way to get rid of it?
I think that was the same question at 8:13 too, making sure.
Oh, good.
Sure.
I love
I'm having
this
trouble
one.
seeing everything today.
Mine does that.
Father Chris will say something. I'm like, I don't know where that was. I
Yeah.
missed.
Y'all say hello to people, and I haven't seen them yet. I think it was same. I think it was same question at 8:13 from Greg too, or 8:34. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. I'll get you all confused.
Water, water, WDDER,
Water.
water column.
He's moved on to something else.
Water.
It is water.
Water. It's water.
And I have and I spend quarters, and I have daughters.
Water.
That's not water.
Go on, get my water.
It's
Alex
water.
says, just give up and quit the hobby.
No.
If you've got blackbeard algae.
All right, now come on now.
Memory association.
I'm going to give you the solution to blackbeard algae. Okay, because there's a very real solution. What's the, oh golly, I can never remember the name of the woman who had the blackbeard algae tank.
Oh, you're talking about Rachel O'Leary.
Rachel, right.
Her algae scape.
Right.
Which is quite beautiful.
Right. Rachel discovered how to get rid of blackbeard algae. She had a big tank with some of her monster fish in it, like big 200 gallons. No plants in it, but blackbeard algae took over, and it got like 6 inches long and just waved in the water. She fell in love with it. It was absolutely beautiful, and cherished it, and showed it off to everybody. And came down one morning, and it was gone. And that's the solution.
To love it.
You've got to learn to love blackbeard algae, and you really do, because it's not a pest. It is a plant form that is growing in an otherwise very difficult environment for plants to grow in. I mean, why do you think it's black? Because there's not very much light in that tank. You don't find blackbeard algae growing where there's a lot of intense light. Number one. Number two, your tank is loaded with nitrates. It is nitrate through the roof. Now, nitrates don't kill fish unless they get up to the point where they're turning into rocks and dropping onto the fish and knocking them out. I mean, nitrates can get up to 1,000 parts per million without being particularly toxic. Nitrates don't kill fish. Fish kill fish. So blackbeard algae is a way for the tank, in its wisdom, to control the the growth surge increase in nitrates. So if you've got blackbeard algae, you've got a couple of conditions. You probably have a dark tank. You probably also have high nitrates. There may be other causes. I'm not aware of everything in God's great green earth that
It's to
causes
the first, no to the second for me.
Okay.
But mine's not black. Mine's that dark green.
Yeah, it's not actually black. It is actually.
I don't think I've ever had it. I've got what somebody said that. Oh, Paul C said the pothos. Said that keeps from getting it, but I do have pothos in all my tanks, so that may be why I don't have
extracts
it.
a lot of nitrate out of the water. Anyway, learn to love it, enjoy it, cherish it, because it'll be gone before you know it. It will. It's rarely something that. Now I have seen. I had a friend. We used to visit each other in our fish club. We haven't done that for a while. And there was one particular fish room we visited, and every one of his tanks were full of blackbeard algae. And there were a couple of factors number one, he never did water changes. Never. His tanks were dark. He had limited to zero maintenance. He did not have deep sand beds. They were, I think, by and large, either gravel or bare bottom tanks. He was loaded with blackbeard algae. At the time, we thought it was ghastly. Anymore, I don't. Anymore, I like it, because the minute you start working on your system, it disappears. You do a big water change, it can disappear overnight. It's really an amazing kind of plant. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Just don't worry about your blackbeard algae. BBD is not a bad thing. Just not a bad thing. Learn to love it.
Algae is your bestie.
There you go.
Snails will eat it, so.
Snails, yes.
But
Yeah,
they
snails eat it. That's
at
true.
all. They'll get bits of it.
Chinese algae eaters. Oh, Sharpie says also blackbeard algae doesn't like high flow.
That's true. That's true. Although it was growing in that big 200, and she had pretty good flow in there, as I recall. But a big tank, it's hard to have a lot of flow.
Yeah, that's why I do the toothbrush on my Anubias plant too. I pull that out and I start scrubbing away the algae before it will turn into blackbeard algae.
GRB said Betsy's our bestie.
You can do that, and then you can be like, you know what, I'm tired of doing that, and just let it take over and learn to love it, because it gets tiring to do that.
Really?
Now I know people recommend, well, there's the different algae eaters. I know the Chinese algae eaters, people say don't want to get involved with those. But what about Siamese algae eaters? I hear they're a lot better fish.
So,
Well,
That's
autosync is another one.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of pistogramma, but then you said auto.
And spotted
Spotted
hillstream.
Yeah.
Oh, how to
Spotted
catch
loaches.
spotted loaches without a net.
Without a net.
Yep, Rohan.
Okay, I'll tell you how to do this, Rohan.
Gosh.
It's really quite simple. Remember the conversation we were having the other day about how to start a siphon? Well, it goes to that. Here's the trick. You catch them with a siphon. Now you got to make sure that the opening of the siphon is big enough to accommodate the fish without it getting blocked in there. So you want like a half inch siphon. I've done 1 inch, but that's a killer. Half-inch siphon should do. If you are freaked out about siphons, then just put the whole thing in the tank, let it fill up, put your thumbs on each end, and then you're in trouble. So what you do is you put your thumb on one end and grab the other end while it's underwater, so you have a little bit to work with. You need 6 to 8 inches of tube to work with. Take the other end out, reach it down to the bucket, holding your thumb on it. Get the end of the hose in the tank near the fish and lift your tank off. Lift your thumb off the hose real quick. Good chance you'll get them. Keep doing that until you do. It works pretty well because the fish will go right toward the current. He'll not run away from it. He'll head toward it. Coolie loaches are a great way to catch using the siphon method because they love current. They'll go right into current soon as that happens. The hill stream is another current fish, a fish that lives in creek streams and rivers. So the siphon method really works because it is responsive to the natural behavior of the animal. It's not trying to run away from the current, it's trying to run into it.
Like a water slide.
Like a water slide, right? Stream in the forest.
Yeah, he's catching them in the out in the wild, not in a tank.
Oh, he is.
Anton
GRB said make a.
Yeah.
GRB said to make a trap,
Well, that's always
like a minnow trap.
yeah, and then try to set the trap with something. I've done a lot of traps. They never worked for me. I guess I'm not very trap conscious. I do remember when I was a kid, I used to visit another boy my age, and we would go out in the woods. They lived on a big farm, and we'd go out in the woods and walk along the creek. And he would say, "There's one," and I'd look, and he had put a jar in the creek, and we looked, and there was a fish in it, and he would put his hand over the end of it real quick and lift it up, and he caught fish that way. By leaving the jars in there, the fish would use them as a hidey hole, and he'd be able to catch them. Thought that was pretty slick. Yeah, you can do that kind of thing if it's going to work. I don't know how exactly. One way to do it would be if it's a clear jar, you might be able to just manipulate it right on top of the hill stream. They kind of sit in one spot and trap it that way. Then slide something under the opening so you can pull it out, whatever floats your boat.
He wants to know if they'll survive for 24 hours in a small trap.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on how small the trap is, whether there's water flow going through it or not, whether there's enough dissolved oxygen in the water that's in it. I would assume it has an opening, so it's going to get some flow. So chances are, yeah. If it's dead, then the answer is no.
Anton has a question at 8:49.
Yes, Anton. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. Can I put my mollies in my pond with my guppies? I read that they
Yeah, absolutely. You betcha. Well, I don't know where you live, but mollies, the green sailfin molly is native to Florida. What's the other molly called? It's not coming to me. It's a Central American molly. Molokkan. The Molokkan molly is not native to Florida, but they are more tolerant. They're a kind of they're northern South America. They're from the region just south of Florida. Let's see. Sister Lockmo said it's not in the tank, it's in a stream. What in the world is she talking about? $8.49, Sister Lockmo. See if you can jump in and sneak up on it. Oh, okay. Got it. Right.
Anton's in South Africa, and it's Sailfin mollies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would assume so. So long as it's not getting down below 50, 45. If it's sailfins, then they can survive water that gets down pretty close to freezing for a matter of a day or so, no longer. So if you've got the occasional overnight cold wave that gets chilly, they'll survive that. They won't survive a freeze, but they will survive cold water in a given night, so long as it can warm up the next day or so.
Yeah, GRB has an interesting comment at 8:53.
Let me get back down here. Used to manage is that when the industrial wetland where nitrogen was their main contaminant, ran water through fill and drain sand beds to convert ammonia to nitrate, then pumped the planted wetland and added coke. Interesting. Coke, would that be the sugar? There are a lot of herbs in coke. Could it be anything? A lot of sugar too, for that matter. Unless he's not talking about Coca-Cola, but is talking about burned coal, which would make more sense because that would be like charcoal. That is charcoal.
Yeah, I was thinking Coca-Cola sounds strange too.
Yeah, he's talking about carbon, charcoal.
Let's see. Did you get the one at 8:54, Kate?
Well, that's just right below where we're reading.
From James Hand.
Yeah, I like Sharpie's trap. That's
Mm-hmm.
a really effective little trap.
At 8:54, Father Fish, James Hand had a question about some juvenile angelfish. He had a breakout that he had never seen before. Eyes would get white, cloudy very quickly. Within minutes, they'd twirl around like a helicopter out of control and die.
Yep. pH. Your pH dropped precipitously, probably to 6 or thereabouts. That's typical behavior for pH burn. The eyes cloud. They go into it. They go into a spin and die. It's a sudden change in pH for whatever reason. Zero nitrates, GRB says, with that system. Yeah, the key is putting it through the wetlands. It all gets pulled out by the plants. So plants, heavily planted tank and a deep substrate does control nitrates.
And then my friend Mark Harnett, he's one of our members, but he did a video where he like purposely spiked his nitrates in a tank without fish in it, like to extremely high, right? And then he put pothos in it and measured it, and it was an incredible little experiment. So that's just thinking about that. I know we were not on that subject anymore, but that's where my brain was.
Oh, Sharpies is saying some fish can be more susceptible to nitrates, but not to the point some think. The waterways around here can be in the hundreds and lots of life. I have noticed in saltwater tanks, high nitrates are a problem for some corals, which seems odd because corals are an algae and an animal living in a sympathetic relationship. What's the word for that? So plants typically absorb nitrates, but there's some of the soft corals, particularly, are highly susceptible to elevated nitrates in a saltwater tank.
GRB described what the coke was at 8:58.
Yeah, he's saying that cola was a carbon source, the sugar, because the bacteria ate the sugar they released.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Interesting. Seems expensive to use cola.
How about that?
I wonder how much you'd have to use.
I don't know. And if that works, why not just put sugar in?
Right.
Did you get the one at 854 or 57 Cass for Anton?
Bubbles,
No.
bubbles from the substrate, the bubbles from the substrate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, that just means it's happy, Anton. Bubbling away, bubble, toil and trouble.
Yeah, that's probably the bacteria. That's probably a good thing.
Grow. Yeah, not to worry. Just make sure your sand cap is solid. The bubbles are going to go through the water. They're not going to roll around in the water column and dissolve in the water. They're going to go up through the sand and into the air. So not to worry. Still bubbles released from the substrate. It's okay. It's okay.
James said something about the API liquid test pH went from 6.8 to 6.6. Is that the one about the angelfish?
Really? That doesn't make sense. I've seen exactly that thing happen. And I've always traced it to a sudden drop in pH.
What's dropping the pH so quickly?
It's hard to say. There are other variables. Could have done a water change. Could have put something in there. It could be that a domino effect occurred that reached crisis proportions. It could be ammonia too, an ammonia spike. Test for ammonia. Ammonia spike will do it too. And that could be a function of deteriorating matter in the tank, excess food. Overfeeding baby fish is pretty easy to do, and that can cause an ammonia spike. So ammonia is another cause of the kind of thing you're looking at. And that can happen pretty quickly too. If you've got excess waste from excess food in there, from overfeeding the babies. Water changes are really important with baby fish. I also like to siphon out any food that's laying on the bottom with baby fish. Try to keep it clean. Baby fish, unless it's bettas that I'm feeding mom to, I like to keep baby bettas in bare tanks so you can get it clean, keep it clean quickly and easily, like day by day. If you let excess food build up, it's going to create a deterioration problem that could spike ammonia. So that's the other thing that can cause the symptom you're seeing as ammonia spike. Check that out as well.
I was still reading this from GRB too. Said that we could get our old product from Coca-Cola factory in large volumes, so win-win. They got rid of waste. They got rid of waste Coke products, and we got rid of nitrogen. That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It was a product of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I tell you, there's the key to successful fish keeping. For that matter, successful farming. Every farmer is always looking for some waste product from a given procedure that he can use in another way, whether it's as food or litter or mulch or just whatever.
Gluten.
Yeah, to always, because every procedure has waste product involved.
Yeah.
If you can use that waste product to meet some other need, then you're involved in the cycle of life. Then you're also saving money. You're not going out and buying stuff that you can otherwise get for free just because it's there in front of you. I mean, don't get into throwing stuff away simply because it makes you hold your nose. Very often, the rankest stuff you've got is the most precious. If you have potted plants, by all means, use your wastewater to water your potted plants. I mean, it's as simple as that. Anytime you clean a filter, clean it in a bucket of tank water, water that you've drawn down to do water changes.
Yeah,
Clean
save
your
that
filter
bucket.
out of that.
Right away, because I find I throw it out too quick, and then I'm like, oh, I need to clean my filter. So don't throw it away very fast.
Yeah, and then use that water to water your plants, or for that matter, to put it in a glass container and set it outside, and it will grow paramecium. It'll grow microculture, which you'll be able to feed to your babies. Just think about creative ways to use every single waste product, everything, including dead fish. I always feed dead fish. Well, Betsy just walked in, and
Some
she
more
Hi,
little
Betsy.
look at
Hello,
this.
ladies.
Hi,
What do
Betsy.
you have today?
If there's any gentlemen there. Some more
No.
quail.
Oh. Did you show Betsy your the store back in the humble beginnings, the commercial from yesterday?
Oh no, but I will.
Oh,
Okay.
she's got to see
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wait
Good
till you
to see
see the
that.
beginnings.
Right.
Yeah, she probably would like that since she's there.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked a lot nicer then. It was clean and neat and orderly.
No, it was new. It was just new. Now
New.
it's like a museum, aquarium.
Ah,
It's like everything. It's a site. Like when you go to say Gatlinburg, you want to go see the Ripley's. Believe it. Well, when you come to Florida, you got to see Father Fish. That's like the thing. Or
Really?
like what was it?
Here too.
The seashell factory. You're a landmark.
Right. For
James
fish.
Handy, bare bottom tank. He's talking about raising baby fish. Bare bottom tank, 2 sponge filters, 50% water change every 3 days. Been breeding angels and guppies since the 60s. Never really had problems. You betcha, James. Oh, now I know who that is. Ah, nice. Thank you, James. Appreciate you, buddy. It's one of the true geniuses in the hobby. So yeah, that's 50 years. 50 years, 60 years. 60 years he's been doing the same thing, and it works, so why change? Like I said earlier, I've been doing this for 50 years, whatever it is you're asking about. And this is the way it's worked for me. So that's it. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's it. That nails it down. What did you use before sponge filters, James? Box filters, I'll bet. There were sponge filters in the 60s, I think. They were little flat things that were shaped to fit in a corner, so they were kind of triangular, shaped with a little device sitting down in a hole in them that had a slot in it. I've still got some of those around somewhere, I think. Pretty slick, and you can make them pretty easily. I used to take a piece of a rigid pipe and burn holes in it with a hot nail, and then get a drill and drill a hole through a piece of sponge and stick it down in that, and then put a little 1/4-inch pipe down inside the 3/8 to 1/2-inch pipe, to get air flowing, and that became the filter, and that's precisely what the sponge filter is today. The trick then was to figure out how to keep it on the bottom. That was the real breakthrough with the sponge filters when they finally figured out how to put a weight on the bottom of the whole thing to keep it down. That solved the problem and made it popular. Before that, you had to weigh them down. That's why we put them in boxes. We'd put rocks or sand in the box, weigh
Yeah.
the thing down.
That's what he was saying. Box filters with gravel and polyfill. All those triangle sponges, LOL.
That's right. Nicholas, 4 weeks
And the
without.
little air tub would all to plug up. Yep.
What else?
He's saying he talked a while back about getting discus, if you recall.
Talk to me about it.
He might have been on here maybe a while back asking
About getting them from me.
or just talking about how he wanted to get discus.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I always think of Petra Man when we start talking about discus. Oh, Mans and Sons.
Doesn't he have gorgeous ones?
Yep. At
What's the
9/11.
population that takes over my box filters with polyfill and gravel? That's what is it? Good question. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm guessing it's bacteria culture. Maybe the waste product from the bacteria. What is the black?
I don't know.
It's
I get
the-
brown.
It's
I
got to
haven't
be
seen
the waste. It's got to be the waste. It's converting whatever the bacteria is breaking down into a product it's called dirt. What it is, that black stuff you get in your sand that you see up against the glass after it's been there for a while, that there's dirt.
That there's dirt.
You get, the more of that there dirt you get, the more plants you can grow. So it's a good sign you're doing a good thing by getting dirt going in there.
I don't know.
Oh,
Mine always looks brown.
James just said Supreme Aquamaster HOB. Yes, Father Fish mentioned getting some discus from him.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I got some and I sold them because he didn't come by to get them. So now I'm
Million.
going to get more. I'm hoping to put an order in next week. And I will include discus in that. Milligan says it's a dark brown, blackish color. Started green and turned brownish black. I suppose dirt makes sense. Well, what else could it be? I mean, really.
48's just walked in. Hello, working and lurking.
We don't do science here. We do we do common sense, right? Which is science, of course.
Edmund made another comment about the. Oh,
What do
there's
we do?
Marco. It's 9 o'clock or 9:15.
After 9.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Marco. I'm asking what time it is, and I'm seeing these things come up.
Yeah.
9:14. I guess I know what that. Mercy. Why so
Now-
many people using bits of sponge in their tank rather than a proper filter? Two very different schools of thought in the comments to that. Isn't that interesting? Bits of sponge. I dare say the people using bits of sponge are holding their nose at the very thought of doing a deep substrate. Now, I would recommend that they keep putting these bits of sponge in there and make them bittier and bittier so that they cover the bottom. When they get up to about an inch deep, then pour some sand on top of them. And be careful doing it because they're going to want to kind of bubble up. But get some sand on top of them, just enough to hold them down. Get that sand about 2 inches deep. If you will do that, it might take you 6 months to get there, but you will have finally figured out why a deep substrate is fundamental to a healthy tank. Bits of sponge indeed. Why not just put charcoal in, or tufa rock, or what's this other red rock stuff called?
Lava rock.
Lava rock, right? Same difference. It's just absorbing.
Yeah.
Funny. I think it's funny. I think it's really funny. And I guarantee you, the people who are doing this, if you talk to them about deep substrate, they go, "Oh, that's a terrible idea. Horrible thing to do. Can't imagine." Ew, ew, ew. So what do? They they try to achieve the same result by tricking the tank into believing it's really not what it really is, which is a substrate. So all you're doing is putting a substrate in the tank, guys. I mean, get serious. Really, bits of sponge indeed.
I don't know. I haven't seen what they're talking about. Sister Lockmo is asking, is the TDS of 95 good or bad? pH is low 7.
The TDH of 95. My
TDS.
coming out of my tap is 250. By the time I put it through the RO system and save off the wastewater to use in my freshwater tanks, it's about 450. So I would say 95 TDS is probably not a problem. Low 7s, that's certainly not a problem. No, I think you're fine with that. High TDS, high alkaline, high hard water. The plants like it a lot. The fish seem to like it. It's there are 2 ways to control bacteria. That's one. The other is to do the opposite and go to soft acid water. The problem with soft acid water, which does control bacteria, but it also creates other kinds of stress. So, it's a excuse me. Here's the thing. Your water that's available to you that you're using is about 100 TDS with a pH in the low 70s. So that's your presenting condition. That's what you have to work with. You can adjust that in order to accommodate what you believe are the needs of a certain kind of fish. Every time you do a water change in that tank, you have to adjust it to the identical parameter in order to maintain stability. After one tank, that becomes problematic to the point that you begin to wonder, why am I doing all of this? Why am I spending so much time and effort trying to adjust my water to just so in order to have it at this level here and this level here? Now, Having said that, Tomas, who's a 23-year-old hotshot, believes that the best way to keep his turtles, mind you, is to use distilled water and put minerals in it. Because he says, that way I know exactly what's in my water. Well, aside from the fact that the turtles really don't give a damn one way or the other, introducing
How do you know?
into that, because I talk to turtles.
Okay. I should have
They
known
tell me,
better.
I've had many Tertullian conversations, and I come away with a higher proclivity than I had before I went in. Proclivity that is for a certain element that goes in the tank that the scientific formula for which is B, large B, small s.
Oh, Alan too said he'll be there at 10:30.
Oh, good. Wonderful.
He also made a really nice comment too when we were talking about all the different things. He said, "Deep substrate is amazing. I see a huge difference since I've converted over. In fact, 3 weeks after I added my substrate, my water lily bloomed. Maybe coincidence, but I don't think so. It is. It just balances everything out, I think."
Where
What do you
is
think, Father Fish? It is. What do
Oh,
you
I
think
got
about a deep
got it.
substrate? 919.
Oh, I said right. Water lily bloom. I've never had a water lily bloom.
Yeah, that thing bloomed a big flower coming outside of his tank.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I've had a lot of other plants bloom. I've had almost all of the Eponogetans have bloomed for me. I've never gotten a lily to bloom. I have customers who have. I'd love to get one to bloom. I think the reason I don't is because I sell them. Once they get big and pretty, you get a lot of leaves, then they tend to go out the door. A lot of things like that here. One of
James,
these days, I'll get back to fish keeping.
yeah.
That would be fun.
James Hand called you Father Fish Doolittle,
Father Fish do little. That's funny.
the turtle whisperer.
Turtle whisperer, right?
Million says Tertullian conversations. This is why he comes here in the morning to hear this stuff.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, but now, wait a minute.
Cozumel. Nicholas is going to Cozumel. I love
Yeah.
Cozumel. Love Cozumel.
Oh, Edmund asked about water lettuce. Sorry, I got to take a break.
Yeah, I was looking at that. What was that?
He wants to know what your thoughts are on water lettuce for nitrates.
At 919.
Well, my thoughts are for water lettuce on nitrates. Oh dear. About the same as Riccia, Salvinia, water hyacinth, Java moss, Java fern, anything that gets its sustenance from the water column is going to be absorbing nitrates. Don't expect to throw a plant in a tank with high nitrates and have it drop precipitously in 2 or 3 days. It doesn't work quite that way. It might take 6 or 8 months or even 2 or 3 years. I mean, they don't pull a lot out and it goes slow. So while it happens, it happens. That's another thing. One of the criticisms of the deep substrate, and it's a criticism that those who are in the know apply as their first line of defense against putting anything deep in the bottom of the tank. They say, well, it takes a very long time for that waste to actually break down and become available as nutrients to the plants. I mean, it takes a very long time, like a year or more. To which my answer is, how long do you leave your tanks set up for? 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, $1? I mean, really, my tanks, many of them, most of them, have been set up now for 8 years. They're doing just fine, thank you very much. I mean, the dirt I put in there 8 years ago is long gone. It turned into plants, and the plants turned into more dirt, and the dirt turned into more plants. And that's been going on now for 8 years. The plants that died last year, I'm seeing sprouting up through the ground right now. There are little tiny leaves out there that are coming up that last year were dirt in the tank. How long do you leave your tank set up for? Yes, it takes a long time. Does your hobby take a long time, or is it something you try to get through quick? Do this,
Not once
do
you
that,
learn
do the
the
other thing. I mean, there are
once
people
you've
like
learned the father fish way.
Right.
see, yeah, and that's kind of the other argument is that is people who do tanks for purely decorative purposes.
Ooh,
You ever
yeah.
you ever met a housekeeper who was who had an absolutely stunningly beautiful home, maybe a beautiful living room, whatever, just magnificent in its color and texture and different kinds of furniture and cloth and materials and little gargoyles and lamps and all that. You go back a year later, and what do you see? It's totally different. It ain't the same.
Right.
It's changed. There are new things that have come in. It's constantly changing. So, and there are fish keepers like that too. And there are fish keepers for whom the fish tank is a decoration. And they want that decoration to be to meet their aesthetic needs. And so they're constantly in it, moving it around, changing it, fixing it. In order to be able to maintain that, you've got to have a fairly high level of technological sophistication in order to keep all the equipment going that's going to be able to keep those fish alive. Those plants, if they have those tanks, if they have plants in them, again, those plants may not be very old, or they may be being trimmed routinely. If they are, after about a year, they get stalky and got to be ripped out and something else planted. At that point, the whole tank gets torn down and reset, and something else goes up. So that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm trying to do. I mean, I have enormous respect for people who can do that and do it really successfully. It takes day-to-day effort. It takes going in there, trimming and manicuring and managing and detailing. It is an enormously consuming task to try to maintain a genuinely spectacular, aesthetically proportioned, decorative aquarium. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I've gotten a little better at making tanks look nice, but I've never really made the effort because I failed so utterly. I'm just I'm not artistic in that detailed sense. Excuse me. I'm sure Alex knows exactly what I'm talking about as an artist, and it's interesting watching his tanks because as an artist, his tanks really don't reflect that. They reflect a different sense of artistry. Much like the kind of artistry that I try to create by trying to create a natural environment, which I create that environment by allowing it, in a real sense, to create itself. I try to put in place the elements of it, so those elements can then flourish and do their thing and become something that's a genuinely natural environment. That's a very different approach. So those are two very different approaches, and they don't necessarily merge. I mean, there are ways to bring them together, but not many people do that. Enough of that.
Yeah. Sharpie's the thing. My oldest tank is 2 years old, and funny enough, it's the one breeding most occurs in.
Oh yeah, you betcha.
Oh yeah, Father Fish, could I show my new little aquascape?
Yes,
It's not very great, but
yeah, Mary figured out how to use her phone. Go for it.
okay. I need you to drop the link again, I guess.
I can do that.
We'll see if it works. I'm just trying to learn how to use the phone, so we'll see.
Al says with 10 grandkids, our house is pristine. Well, with kids and a husband, mine's never pristine.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
Be right
pristine
back.
is probably the wrong word. It's highly decorative. I don't know what's the word. Artistic, maybe. 70 and a wow. Sharpie's got 70 baby cribs. That's a big school of fish. Really, really nice. All right, where are you? Let me see if I can get her. Jeez. Well, she's gone now. You dropped off, Mary. You dropped off. You're gone. There it is. Hold on a minute. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
All right, talk about that a minute. I'm going to take a 1-minute break. You got a minute to kill.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute
Yeah.
fish tanks. These are my little jars. And this is the one that has the betta that we have to do surgery on. Y'all can see his head. This is how I'll let you see how bad this thing is. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. But that's my little guy that brought me to Father Fish. But I set this up night before last. It's not quite deep enough, but that was all the sand I had. I'm trying to see if y'all can see it. This is my moss jar. They have antlers in them.
Funny though is with the white sand, I can tell when it's not deep enough. I don't know how you can
Yeah,
tell.
this is definitely not deep enough, but back in the back it is. Like my other tank over here has got like over 4 inches. You can see it's got stratum, and then it has.
Sharpie says he
It's
wants
like
to
really
be
deep.
a flower farm.
I'm tripping over everything. And then I have my little tub. This is my tub with all my guppies and shrimp. That's my little plant that Father Fish sent me. Trying to see. And then up here is this little girl. See this little sign?
Yep.
Good morning.
This is my little fish room, y'all. It's not much, but it makes me happy. I don't think the other guy, I don't think you can see him. He's usually hiding somewhere. Oh, he's right here.
Marco's enjoying your live update.
This one, I still have to do the same. I haven't capped it yet. This tank's getting ready to be moved. This was the first little one I got. This is what brought me into the fish fam community. Where'd he go? He is so shy. Oh, he's way back here. Well, that's not gonna work. Has it been a minute? I was trying to find these shrimp I got from Ro. They're really, oh, there's one. If you can see it. Oh, there we go. Aquafunk gave me this idea for this tub. He used these clear tubs, so I kind of enjoy it as an aquarium, really. There's an orange shrimp back there, a pumpkin shrimp.
Pumpkin.
Oh, here's a shrimp right here, just swimming around. There he goes. Uh-oh, I see Father Fish is back. My minute's up. But if I could find somebody to hold the camera for me, I would lance this thing on his head. But my husband will not get up and do it. He says he doesn't want any part of it right now. But, okay, I'm gone.
You're fine, Mary. We could sit and watch for a little longer. Alan enjoyed it. Said your tanks look good, Mary. As long as it
They sure
makes you
do.
happy, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
I
Makes
was-
me want to.
I was so
fish
impressed that, yeah. I loved when Cassie took us around her place and showed it, and I was like, if I could get my camera turned around.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I
It's
lost
like,
y'all.
there's my messy garage.
So thank you. I don't know where Aquarium Cop is. I'm sure Aquarium Cop is lurking, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart for teaching us how to turn that camera around, because I could not. Like the time we did the beta surgery the first time, we were like holding the phone like this over it, trying to catch it. It wasn't doing real well. Y'all don't know how much I have improved on so many skills since I've been with you
No, and
guys.
I found when I'm recording, I can't flip it. I can't flip the camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Where's the?
That was the
You
problem.
have to just touch it, but the button to flip is not visible.
Okay. Uh-oh, I lost y'all in the chat. Where are you guys at?
Yep. Alexander Lee says, Mary, you have a full-blown fish room now.
It's a fish corner with lots of little nano tanks. But I could show y'all the nasty mess I've got to turn into a fish tank. I showed it to Cassie. It is a wreck. I bought it off of Facebook, and it's going to be a little while before I can get it done. Oh, there's Alexander Lee and Roxanne. I missed y'all. And T-Bone. T-Bone, you should come up and show us your new plant. He got, what was it yesterday? Something, pink rose ivy. I don't know what he said it was. It was something that sounded really pretty.
I don't think I saw that, so I don't know.
It was just a comment, or was it yesterday morning, I think, T-Bone?
Al Wet Sox is asking if 2 5-gallon pails of sand would be enough for a 125-gallon. Probably not. You're probably going to need 3, and maybe even 4. I don't know what the dimensions. There are a couple of different dimensions for 125s. Is it 4 by 2 or 5 by 18 or 6 by 12? Anyway, it's going to take at least 3 pails.
Yeah, and if it helps, I needed 2 50-pound bags for my 40.
Right. Yeah, usually one bag of sand will do a 55, 2 inches deep. So a 125 is going to take. It's a matter of the footprint, the square inches. I don't have the formula for that. 48 by 12. So that'd be 48 by 12. Whatever that comes out to. It's 480 plus 96. 576 square inches. So a bag of 50 pounds of sand covers 580 square inches to a depth of 2 inches. How's that? So if you've got a 125, which is 4 by 2, that would be double. Be double double the 55. Then that's going to be 2 bags. If it's longer, if it's 6 foot long by 1, that's going to be I don't know, 1.5. So I would get a 3rd bag just to have it available to make sure you're going to be okay. You want 2 inches solid.
For sure. I thought
T-Bone.
a bag and a half
Picture.
where I had 2 inches in the front. Because
Everybody's giving all their
back,
information.
so I have more like 3 inches ish towards the back and 2 in the front.
Well, right. That's the other thing. You can level it so it's deeper at one end. But that's really typically the same amount of sand as if you taper from one inch to what would be 3 inches, then you're simply taking half of it and flipping it over. So it's really the same amount of sand. Jeffrey says, just put 3 bags in. I mean, really, be done with it. Jeffrey, that right there proves to me that you have moderator skills. You just earned yourself a wrench, Jeffrey.
I love it.
Definitely have an extra handy if you're not sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to go
Big
under.
J. Don't know why Big J didn't have a wrench, but he does now.
Oh, T-Bone said it was pink ivy is what he got for his betta bowl.
Pink ivy. That sounds
That
nice.
sounds really pretty.
Thank you.
Manaj had an
yeah.
odd sounding question. Should we put a bit of dead leaf so that it goes down the sand and add dirt content?
Where? Who?
Manaj.
941.
Minaj. Leave it to Minaj.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's calling. Sorry.
Okay, what the leaf is going to do is it's going to add tannins to the water, and it's going to change. It's going to drop the pH. Not a bad thing. That may be a good thing. If you have a lot of tetras or other salter water fish, that's a good thing. It will take an extended length of time for those leaves to deteriorate enough to get down into the sand. Now, by that I mean 6 months to a year. So you can do it, but don't do it for that purpose. At least not over the short term. If that or anything else, like the leaves dying on tanks, the poop from the fish, all of the waste that gets created in the tank, excuse me, will wind up in the substrate unless you take it out. The purpose of a sponge filter, aside from creating a biological filter that establishes a nitrite cycle, is to remove excess waste. It gets clogged up, filled up with dirt. You take it out, you rinse it out, you put it back in. So you're taking things out of the tank that are being created in the tank. Not a bad thing to do. If you have that in conjunction with a deep substrate, then you're reducing the amount of waste that's going into the substrate, but you're also being realistic about the fact that process is not a fast, immediate, quick process. Takes time, takes a long time. So yeah, doing a sponge, doing a deep substrate. Those are all, while you're taking things out with a sponge, you're also probably prolonging or taking pressure off the substrate from being able to work quite so hard. On the other hand, if you have a very, excuse me, if you have a tank that you never feed and you depend on the tank to provide food for its otherwise tiny inhabitants, I would not do a sponge filter because you're going to be taking nutrients out that that the system really requires. Thank you, Misfit, for your $5 super chat. Appreciate it very much.
All
We
right.
do depend on super chats to make our monthly budget. So, you know, if you're doing a membership, then you're already making a commitment. If you're not, try to do something once in a while. Doesn't have to be monthly, but try to do something occasionally to help us out a little bit. This is expensive to do, but it's something that we're going to remain committed to for so long as we remain committed to it. And a big part of that is your willingness to support it. So thank you so much, Misfit, for your very generous and very much appreciated support. So much.
Somebody just joined a member. Yep. Who is
Just-
that? Let's see. Foxy Fishes. Roxanne.
Roxy's a new member. Hey, Roxanne. Thank you so much. Good girl. So Foxy is now eligible to chat with everybody on whatever that channel is.
Discord. Discord. Would you call it dispatch? It could
No,
be dispatch.
It could. No, I called it something worse. Much worse. Which I don't need to repeat.
Okay. Susan.
I've spoken with Alex and James about linking up on the Discord for their members, which we're happy to do. I talked to Thomas and he was excited about it. So if they want to do that, we can increase the conversation by increasing their membership. And that's not going, the chat is an open chat. But we're not going in there doing anything to sucker people into anything. It's simply a way for people who are on it to be able to share on a continuing 24/7 basis with each other. You can post pictures, you can do live chats, you can do videos, you can do pretty much anything on it. It's a really nice channel. The more you get used to it, the more you like it. And it's very, 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 very simple, according to Tomas. So, welcome, Foxy. I think she missed a good morning.
Psychedelic hippocamp. Yeah.
Is asking, are Patreon members eligible on Discord?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Patreon members, go on Discord, sign up. I'll try to post the Discord link on Patreon. I'll talk to Thomas about that. We'll see if we can get that up so you can find it there. But you can also find it on the home page, on the community page on the Father Fish channel. Let me also mention, while I'm discussing technical stuff, that we have linked the old Father Fish channel called The Father Fish to Father Fish. They are now linked together. You're not seeing it because we haven't posted anything on it yet. So YouTube is not going to pop it up until we get something on it. But you will begin seeing that because we're going to be posting things like the daily vlogs to the Father Fish. I'll probably change the name of that to make it more appropriate to its function. But we'll see. Anyway, there's some pretty neat old videos on there that you can watch. It'll give you an idea of what the shop was like 15 years ago or so. Not that long, 12, 13 years ago.
Make sure you show Betsy that. She's gonna love it.
Oh, I will. I will.
Oh, what was I gonna tell you? Oh, I was just gonna say Susan just came. Well, she came in a few minutes ago.
Right.
Miss Susan. Yep.
Yeah, I was asking her how she's feeling, and she says great.
Who?
It's good.
Being attacked.
Here, Fishy saying Mary looks cute. Mary always looks cute. She really does.
Oh, thank you. I'm too old to be cute.
Yeah, I know. Here, Fishy. Here, Fishy's cute too. Cute
Yeah,
is.
she is very cute.
She really is.
Now you
This-
started it.
This kitty is being stinker cute.
We
It's got
need
my
to get
necklace.
Fishy up here. Fishy
In the chair
is
next to me.
pretty hard to get, I think.
Okay,
Oh,
stinker.
Nap time.
oh.
Uh-oh.
Sharpie.
What happened?
Sharpie
Recommendation.
just put his foot in it. Here.
That's it.
Said Father Fish's daily sermon would be
The
a
soapbox.
good name.
Or the soapbox.
Yeah, the soapbox. We could call it that. That's not bad. The
Father Fish's soapbox.
His sermon, though, it's been more of a
soapbox.
update.
Mercy. Not bad. Not bad, Sharpie. The Furby strikes again.
It's found. My kids gave me one of these the things that have all the stones in it for each one of their birthdays. It's got all the birthstones in it. So I have all my grandbabies and my kids in there. And this cat has found it. It's going crazy trying to get it.
Well, here goes Minaj again. Always thinking he is. Always thinking.
Yep.
There's Lee.
Today.
All right. And Minaj, welcome. I just saw Science Gal put a new video up. I don't know if she's still with us, but I just saw the notification.
Oh, neat.
I've been trying to see if I could get her to come up here.
Thank you, Minaj. Yeah, that would be fun.
Susan has a question at 9:52.
It takes a while, but that's why you use your magic mix and your substrate to speed things up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. It seemed
The
like
magic mix.
there's
I'm going to start calling it magic mix. I like that. Thank you, Susan. Magic mix. My favorite saltwater site calls theirs magic mud.
That's pretty good.
Magic mud, magic mix.
That's a good one.
So, Minaj now wants to squeeze out the filter every couple of days in the tank. Minaj, you're going to make me crazy. What do you do? What? You put the sponge in, you squeeze it out. You put the sponge in, you squeeze it. What do you do? What? Leave it alone. Leave it be. Let it be. Let the sponge do the sponge thing. And you
The
do
sponge father.
and you do your thing with your hands, these hands right here. Take them out of the tank. Hide them behind your back. And
You
watch.
don't you'll be sleeping with the fishies.
Mercy, Minaj. Mercy. Give us
Yeah.
all a rest.
Sharpie says he does that to start a new tank.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's Lee. Lee Wilcox.
Hi, Lee.
He's
Little
just plain
Lee
Lee today. Just Lee with the wrench. That's all he is today.
Lee.
Just Lee with the wrench.
He's got his green sticker See his
Yep.
green sticker?
I
Don't leave
see
that
his
on.
green sticker.
Lord, we nearly got killed for lacking a green sticker. Mercy. I didn't know if we were going to be able to stay up.
We love you, Lee. Hope your house hunting's going okay. Yours and Alex. And who else? Was it Tisha? Was she the one looking for a house too? There was somebody else.
Maybe.
Not sure. I think
It's been a while back.
Tommy Dinda.
Tommy.
Daily sermon.
Yeah. It's not
All
my fault.
right. So let's see. We need to get a little tune up here, don't we? Doobie doo.
This cat.
What's the
Little-
cat's name?
I think it's Abby. It's been Oreo, Abby, Wheezy. It's been
Yeah, we went through that. I did Remy and Ross, and then my husband decided to call Ross Tinkowski after the character on Big Bang Theory.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm going, no, it's Ross.
This little cat is so cute though. I really do love it. Open house this Sunday. Oh, Roxanne had snow this morning. Hoo-hoo.
Say what?
We got down
Roxanne
to
said,
the 70s this morning. Our
really?
First chilly day.
70s. Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
Here, Fishy, Pastor Father Fish. Magic
Oh,
Mix.
yeah.
We're gonna stick with Magic Mix. I like that. Susan, I'm trying to get a picture of Tom for your newsletter. I'm working on it. I got to look on this computer. I think I've got one on here. You know what? We need somebody checking Patreon routinely. Or at least I need to post the Patreon members regularly. I've not been doing that on here, and I need to do that. There are about 15 people have signed up on Patreon.
Susan said she found a photo. Oh, sorry.
Oh, did she? Of
Yeah.
Tom? Oh,
Oops.
good.
Yeah.
She says she has one in your
Wonderful.
photo.
Thank you. Okay. I knew there were some around. Oh, right. Where are we? Are we there? Are we done?
We're there.
We're there. We're ready.
Are we there yet? I got to go to the bathroom, Dad. Can we stop?
Here we go, boys and girls.
Hello, Mary. Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish.
Go, Father Fish.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's
There she
talk about
is.
fish. Fish. Let's
Her
talk
little
about
sunshine.
fish. Let's talk about fish.
My swan today.
That is neat.
Isn't that cool?
Instrumental break.
The swan.
Show and tell.
Remember our Halloween party tomorrow, y'all.
Halloween party tomorrow. Everybody who's in costume can come up and join us.
Yes.
It'll all
Let's
be
talk about
nuts
fish,
tomorrow.
baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
Yeah.
Fish. Fish. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. I think that one will do.
Here we go. Here's the contest. Let's do this. Is it up? Here we go. Bye, all. Nice to be with you.
Love you all.
Love you all. See you in the morning for Halloween. Bye, guys.
I've got my costume on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm wearing.
Now. Love you. Bye for now.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Lee, you've come to the right place. I want to see your costume tomorrow, Sir Lee. I'll see you this afternoon. I'll do a little 5-minute with you late this afternoon. Thank you, Aquatic Conquest, for your many, many, many efforts. Bye for now.